Hi everyone, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Jordan Peterson. Not only is he a huge public figure, but he's also been featured on this channel quite a few times. But today we're not focusing on Jordan Peterson, we're focusing on his daughter, Mikhaila Peterson. And I know this is hard to believe, but Mikhaila is even more dishonest and more incompetent at her job than her father is. So today we're going to be taking a look at two new videos that Mikhaila put out on her YouTube channel. The first of which is Mikhaila Peterson and the Lion Diet, and the second of which is Peterson Family Update September 2019. So we're going to go through these videos, debunk some of the misinformation in these videos, and more importantly, show some inconsistencies with Mikhaila Peterson's stories.
My name's Mikhaila Peterson. I'm a 27-year-old mother of a beautiful 2-year-old daughter. I'm the CEO of two companies, one being Don't Eat That, my health company, and I'm the creator of the Lion Diet.
Okay, so at worst, Mikhaila Peterson is deliberately just flat out lying to everyone, and at best, she's being dishonest. So for one thing, beautiful is not an adjective I would use to describe her daughter, and secondly, she is not the CEO of two companies. So the first company she mentioned was her nutrition company called Don't Eat That. Well, Don't Eat That is just her blog, and from what I can tell, her only source of income on her blog is her Patreon, and currently she only has 37 patrons, and she has only reached 11% of her first funding goal, which is to make 2 new blog posts per week. So, CEO of a nutrition company, yeah, it's just your blog, you barely make any money on your blog. What have you made, like $100 a month so far? And secondly, Mikhaila claimed that she's the CEO of another company called The Lion Diet. Well, here's the video. If you scroll down into the description, you'll see there's a link to theliondiet.com. Well, if you go to theliondiet.com, where does it lead you to? Oh, it leads you to her blog. So I don't know why Mikhaila felt the need to lie about her child being good looking or lie about being the CEO of two companies, but I'm assuming it's because she wanted to make it seem as though she's smarter and has more credibility than she really has. But in reality, she's only running one blog. It's not very successful. She makes all of her money through Patreon donations, and she barely gets any Patreon donations. She only has 37 patrons. She's only met 11% of her first funding goal, and I doubt she even makes enough money through this blog to pay for her makeup expenses each month.
I've successfully treated myself for multiple chronic, severe, idiopathic disorders. I've been unmedicated since drastic dietary intervention in 2015, and I'm completely symptom-free. I was diagnosed with idiopathic juvenile arthritis, idiopathic hypersomnia. I was taking amphetamines to stay awake, immune suppressants for the arthritis. I was diagnosed with chronic depression, anxiety, and hypomania, medicated for those mental problems since the 5th grade.
And once again, Mikhaila Peterson is lying. So she did say that her entire life she's been suffering from these autoimmune issues, including arthritis, anxiety, depression, but she claims that back in 2015, after changing her diet, she is being completely unmedicated. That's a pretty amazing claim that, you're suffering from arthritis since you were a really small child, anxiety, depression, your entire life, and all of that just boom, went away from switching your diet. Well, that's a lie. She admitted in her most recent video that was published only a couple days ago that she has been taking medication to treat her anxiety.
I'm pretty anti-pharmaceutical, and you guys know why, considering my background. But I did try clonazepam a couple of times this summer to try to stop panicking. It was not good.
Now, I don't think it makes you a bad person to take medications to deal with autoimmune disorders or neuropsychiatric disorders like anxiety or depression, but clearly Mikhaila is lying. She claimed that back in 2015, she resolved all of her autoimmune disorders, all of her neuropsychiatric issues with anxiety, depression. All of that was cleared up after switching to a carnivore diet. She's been off all medication. Well, clearly that's a lie. These are ongoing issues that you're still trying to deal with that weren't solved by your diet, and you even tried to use medications very recently to try and resolve these issues. So it makes me wonder, what else are you lying about, Mikhaila? At the end of the day, all we have to go on is your word, your own anecdotal testimony. And you haven't provided us with any scientific evidence that, your carnivore diet, your lion diet, has any efficacy in treating or curing autoimmune disorders or neuropsychiatric issues like anxiety or depression. So if all we have to go on is your word and you've literally admitted to lying, why should we trust you? And you do have to recognize that Mikhaila is trying to make money off of all of you with this ridiculous carnivore or lion diet thing. She has a financial incentive to lie to all of you, and I'm sure she's smart enough to recognize that it sounds a lot more enticing to say, hey guys, I've suffered from all of these really serious issues my entire life, but as soon as I went on the lion diet, cured, all gone, I'm on no medications anymore. Rather than saying the truth that, after switching to the carnivore diet, I still have all of these problems. They've only gotten better, but I still need to take medications to try and manage these problems I have. So the truth doesn't sell as well as lies, and I think that could explain why Mikhaila's lying.
Then when I was 21, my skin started to break down. I was dying. I'm not anymore. I'm thriving.
So you show us some old photos of pimples on your face, and you're claiming that your skin was breaking down and you were dying. I'm not trying to make light of your autoimmune issues you had, but you might want to be a little less dramatic when you just show photos with pimples on your face.
I really don't know how I'm on antidepressants now, and I don't know how anybody in my family would have really survived without them.
Not pretty. I spent the next 4 years reading as many scientific articles as I could get my hands on to try and figure out the underlying cause of my mysterious illnesses. I've read thousands of papers. They eventually led me to the conclusion that gluten could be irritating my gut, and maybe that was causing an immune response.
So this is another lie. Mikhaila's claiming that she has spent countless hours, she has read thousands of scientific papers on diet, health, autoimmune function, and based on reading all of this scientific research, she has come to the conclusion that her carnivore diet or her lion diet is ideal for treating at least her specific autoimmune issues. Well, that is not true. She does not read any scientific research pretty much at all, and she admitted this to me in an email. So I emailed her asking if she would be interested in debating what diet is best for human health, a vegan or carnivore diet. She responded, "I'm not sure. I don't know if it would be helpful. I'm not interested in debating the science, quote-unquote, behind either diet, although Paul Saladino might be. The medical community failed me, so I don't care what scientific papers say. So I don't know what we would talk about. What are you thinking?" So what a stark contrast. On YouTube, publicly, you have no shame in stating, "Oh man, I've spent countless hours researching, I've read thousands of scientific papers, I have this huge wealth of knowledge on nutrition and autoimmune disease." But then privately, when the public can't see, when someone challenges you to a debate, challenges you to support your claims with evidence, you say, "Oh, I'm scientifically illiterate. I don't know too much about science. I don't even trust science. You see, science failed me, so I try to avoid science. So I'm not really interested in debating this topic because I don't know what I'm talking about." So I think you've proven to everyone that you are a lying fraud. Not only have you lied about the nature of your business, but on top of that, you're even lying about your level of expertise on this nutrition and autoimmune disease topic. So why don't you just quit? Quit while you're ahead. What, you've made a few $100? Just quit.
And this is me now. This is me on the lion diet. The lion diet is strict, and it'll fix your problems and turn you into a boss human.
So notice how, again, she didn't provide any scientific evidence for her claims. She didn't even provide evidence that this diet benefited her in any meaningful way. She didn't provide her own medical report stating that she's been in remission of these autoimmune disorders or neuropsychiatric disorders she's been suffering from. No, all she showed was a flattering photo of her wearing underwear. So we are to believe that this lion diet can treat or even cure serious autoimmune and neuropsychiatric disorders like anxiety and depression because you look good in underwear. And we already know that you have lied about treating your neuropsychiatric disorders and being off all medications. So why should anyone take you seriously?
I've seen thousands of people recover using this diet. It sounds crazy, but it's true.
Well, there's an old saying, Mikhaila, if it sounds too good to be true, then you're probably full of shit.
It involves only eating ruminant animal meat, organs are fine, high fatty cuts like ribeye or ribs, salt and water. It's as simple as ruminant meat, salt, and water.
So obviously I have a number of problems with this diet, first of which is, why are you calling it a lion diet when lions don't eat salt and they also don't eat fatty cuts of meat? Lions hunt and kill wild game. Wild game meats are a lot leaner than meat from domesticated livestock. So why are you calling it a lion diet when you're adding spices to your food and instead of eating wild-caught game, you're eating fatty domesticated animals? And this is not only a problem for human health, but it's also a problem for feline health. Believe it or not, cats can actually develop heart disease, atherosclerosis, from eating too much fat and cholesterol, as demonstrated in this study. They fed cats a high-fat, high-cholesterol diet, and they ended up developing atherosclerosis. So cats have not actually evolved to eat high-fat diets. Their diets are relatively lower in fat, and they eat a higher percentage of their calories from protein. So your diet gives cats heart disease, and you're actually recommending this diet for human consumption. It is a joke.
I've been following this diet for almost 2 years with my dad. My diet has been featured in BuzzFeed, The Atlantic, The Times, The Guardian, and many other news sources.
And none of those are reputable scientific medical journals, so what the hell does it matter if your diet has been featured in the mainstream news? Kim Kardashian's ass has been featured in those same news sources you mentioned. Should we be eating Kim Kardashian's ass?
Turns out everything we've been told about health is a lie.
And this is coming from someone who lied about her business, lied about her health, lied about being off of medications, lied about reading thousands of scientific papers, and lied about her knowledge and expertise. But we're supposed to believe you that everything we've been told about health and nutrition is a lie. Okay.
I've cured bacterial infections that the medical community couldn't help me with. My mom and I had C. difficile for 1.5 years. That infection kills people. It was terrible. I cured both of us.
And once again, she's making another health claim that she has absolutely no evidence for. She's claiming that her carnivore or lion diet cured C. diff, an infection that no doctors or medications could cure. Cool story. Why don't you show us a case report? Why don't you show us some scientific evidence? Why don't you show us your medical records? No, you're just going to show us some underwear shots? Oh, okay, that's good enough.
Life isn't easy for some people, but you can get on top of it, and I'd really, really like to help you. I've helped thousands of people already, and my goal is to help millions.
You've helped thousands of people already, you say. Well, I find that hard to believe because currently there's only 37 people on your Patreon. Were you helping these thousands of people while being a CEO of a different company?
So I'm here to say, you can be a lion or you can be a sheep.
Yeah, I think the sheep are the people who give you money because you share photos of yourself in underwear.
If I can turn my dad's health around, he lost 50 pounds, got rid of his autoimmune disorder and his mood disorder, and stopped dying myself. That was no easy feat, by the way.
And Mikhaila Peterson has made up yet another lie. So she's claiming that she cured her dad's mood disorder with this carnivore or lion diet. Well, that is not true. Jordan Peterson didn't have anything cured with his carnivore diet. He was still suffering from depression and anxiety. And guess what? He was taking medication to deal with that depression and anxiety. And he is now addicted to the medication, and he is currently in rehab.
And when Dad got back, he tried to get off the medications he was prescribed. Turns out clonazepam is hell to get off of. So he stopped cold turkey in the summer after talking with a psychiatrist and experienced horrific physical withdrawal and anxiety. Turns out this is more than common with clonazepam. Did you know they put suicide warnings on the bottle in the States? Would have been nice to know prior to the prescription. The reason we're in New York is because Dad's in rehab using other medications to try and get off of this clonazepam. I've never seen my dad like this. He's having a miserable time of it. It breaks my heart. He decided to check himself into a place because he didn't want to stress Mom out and wanted to get off of this as quickly as possible.
And it's also important to note that these two videos are only a few days apart from each other. So when she made this lion diet video, she knew full well that her dad was on medications to deal with his mood disorder and that he was having a hell of a hard time getting off of his medications and he needed rehab. So she deliberately lied, claiming that she cured her father's mood disorders even though he was still on medications and he was trying to get off of medications just so she could promote her stupid diet and make a quick buck off of you. And what's also funny is, in this lion diet video, she didn't mention her mother. Why would that be? She only mentioned her father. Well, she's mentioned her mother in the past about how she's doing so great on the carnivore diet. She's made Instagram posts showing off her mother's body in a bikini because apparently that's the gold standard for scientific evidence for proving a diet's good. Well, why didn't she mention her mother in this lion diet video? Well, guess what? Her mother's dying of kidney cancer.
Mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer, collecting duct, at the end of April. It was unbearable. I didn't sleep for 2 days when we found out. Mom and Dad walked around in a stupor. I've never experienced anything like that amount of stress before. I didn't get my period this summer until we found out Mom's going to be okay. Thank goodness. So after that terminal diagnosis, she had a total kidney removal. And then there was a surgical complication, a 1 in 20,000 surgical complication.
What's also interesting is that red meat consumption is associated with an increased risk of kidney cancer. Now, did Mikhaila Peterson's mother develop kidney cancer because of her carnivore diet or high meat consumption over a long period of time? I don't know. Maybe her kidney cancer was caused by her diet, or maybe it had nothing to do with her diet or lifestyle, and it was just an unfortunate case of bad luck. But what I do know is Mikhaila Peterson is very quick to associate any positive things with her carnivore diet. She's even willing to go out of her way to lie to support the efficacy of her diet. She lied about curing her issues with anxiety and being off of medication. She also lied about curing her father's mood disorder with this carnivore diet when he was never cured. He still had ongoing issues with anxiety. He was on medication to treat this anxiety, and now that he's off the medication, he's in rehab. So Mikhaila's claiming that she has helped thousands of people by helping them switch to the carnivore diet or this lion diet. I find that claim to be rather dubious because she only has 37 Patreon supporters. She doesn't have a very large audience. And the people that we do know she has influenced, her mother and her father. Take a look at them. Jordan Peterson still suffers from a horrible mood disorder. He's in rehab right now. He's at a low point in his life. And her mother suffered from kidney cancer, had a kidney removed, nearly died. So these are the two people that we know she has influenced, and they are in terrible health. So take that for what you will, but I am definitely not going to recommend Mikhaila Peterson's carnivore diet. And with all of that said, the debate offer is still on the table, Mikhaila, so if you want to debate me on any kind of health and nutrition topic, I'd be more than happy to. We can debate the efficacy of your dietary strategies or any subtopics like the effect of saturated fat and cholesterol on human health. So if you're interested in being publicly embarrassed in front of a live audience and being proven once again that you are a lying con artist fraud, I'd be more than happy to do that. Just send me an email. We can set up a date for a debate. And if you like this video, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon or through my website. I have some funding perks you may find interesting. If you're looking for clothing, then check out the Vegan Gain store. And as always, keep making those vegan gains.
What a relief! When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and